homeowners. They live right here in Clay County, so they're going to share a number with you. And then second is Charity Gilbert. Charity is a student at Berea College, majoring in Appalachian Studies. Charity lives in the Oneida area of the community, so she's going to come and share a number with you. So without further ado, and I'll come back in a minute and share a little bit more, but let's make welcome Stephen Family Tradition and Charity Gilbert.
We've been introduced.
It won't help tomorrow. Well, I wish I had a bit of my horse for to feed him on. Shady girl, just stay at home, feed him when I'm gone. Well, shady girl, my love, shady girl, I know. Shady girl, my love, I'm shady. Judgment Day.
I think you're amazing. I'll tell you a little bit about what you're going to see here in just a minute. This project started off 2 years ago, and Donna Daniels called me and she said, "Vanda, we'd like to do a project with you, County. Think about that." Well, I thought Donna was probably talking about making a flower bed or picking up trash or something like that, so I'm thinking, sure. 2 years later, and here we are, so we hit that code, and so this started out as getting there together. And so this is the end product. So what you're going to see tonight are stories that we gathered from all walks of life. The stories you see on stage we gathered from girls that were at Freedom House. They were in the detention center. They were inmates in the detention center. We gathered stories from the community. We gathered stories from grandparents, aunts, uncles, all over the place. We gathered these stories. And so as the stories start to come together, we got to thinking, well, we need a title for this. So all of our stories were coming together. And so there was a guy, his name was Bertie Combs. Governor Combs ran for that office back in about 1960, 1959 or 60. So as Governor Combs was in his campaign, he would say, he was a local guy, right here in Manchester, Kentucky, or Clay County. He would say, work hard, tell the truth, do the right thing. That was his platform that he used throughout his campaign. So I thought, boy, that's fantastic. Shouldn't we all work hard, tell the truth, and do the right thing? And so these stories started to come in together, and so we thought, okay, let's see what we can do with the cast, with the music, and all that kind of stuff. And so right now, as this begins to unfold, I'm going to introduce probably, Monkey Dumplins doesn't have a star, but tonight we have probably the closest thing to a star that we have. So Stephen, if you would come on out. Woo. This is Stephen Napier. So take a good look at him, because he will be playing the role of Joe Burchell. Joe Burchell was a local gang warden here in Clay County many years ago, back when I was a young woman or a young girl. But anyway, Joe was known for his integrity, his honesty, his working hard, his commitment to his job, doing his job right. And so we thought, well, what better story? So you're going to see Stephen on and off stage tonight in these stories. Some of the stories that you will see will hit you right in the gut. They'll hit you in the heart. Some of them will make you laugh. But isn't that what life is all about? But I have to say this before I get off the stage. This cast, there's probably 25 of them behind in the wings here. They have just put their hearts and souls into this performance. And we have been struck with illness upon illness upon illness. Okay? Stomach virus, flu, strep, you name it, we've had it. So we have some cast members that were hit last night. So if you see somebody holding a piece of paper
a piece of land to build him a house upon, way up at the head of a holler. Nothing but wilderness up there, and so pretty, he kinda hated to commence. But he worked his behind off clearing that place. Chopped down trees, burned big brush piles, hauled off huge rocks, grubbed up tree roots. People said that he had lost his mind buying that place. But underneath all that wilderness was a pretty nice little house scene. And then once he got it all cleared off, he started building him a house. And then the preacher came to visit one day, was bragging on it, said it was about the prettiest place he had ever seen. And just think, said the preacher, all of this belongs to just you and the Lord. And the fellow sat there then, thinking, and he said, well, preacher, I reckon that's true. But you should have seen it when the Lord owned it himself.
I was an inmate at a federal correctional institute with my responsibility to help take care of ladies. There was a small grassy courtyard just outside of the administration building which required regular mowing with a push mower. My job was hedges, until the day I was asked to fill in for the guy who usually mowed them. I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and I need things to be just so even lawn grass. So, day by day I mowed and people would comment, and I took pride in what I was doing until the day I noticed the warden watching me. And that made me nervous. A few weeks later, I had learned that she had asked somebody for my name. Uh-oh.
Looks like you decided to go straight, Smith. Nice job.
As time went on, the warden stopped off to chat. We talked about my life and robbery conviction. And she told me stories.
Joe Birchall used to take his great-nephew fishing when nobody else would. Just trying to straighten the boy's path.
You know, your great-great-great-grandfather, when he was a little boy, he had some hard luck. His mother died when he was young, and he had to live with his relatives, from one after another, kind of like you. He'd live with his father, his grandmother, and even one of his older sisters who was married. But everywhere the boy lived, his family worked pretty hard. You know, they had their own lives and their own problems. Here, let me help you with that.
His folks left Ricky pretty much alone.
The boy loved to go fishing when he had a chance. One day he went down by the riverbank to begin to fish, and he found 3 blue fish hooks, and they were shiny and sharp. He never had any store-bought fish hooks, you know, like the ones that we use. He'd always try to fashion whatever he could into a fish hook. So he looked around, it tickled him to death to find these fish hooks. He looked around, didn't see anyone, thought somebody just left them and forgot about them. So he began to fish, and he caught a bunch of fish. Whenever he got done, he took his handkerchief and those fish hooks, folded them up into his handkerchief, and took them home.
Heck, I would have done the same thing back then.
But when the boy got home, it began to trouble him, you know, taking something that wasn't his to take. So he folded the fish hooks back up into his handkerchief, and he took them back down to the riverbank where he was fishing.
Right where he left them. Keep up the good work, Smith.
Going straight, ma'am.
And I almost forgot. I got you something. But don't open this till we get home, okay?
Well, I think I caught it. Looks like I got something for you too, Uncle Joe.
Look here, Hope. I made some good sweet tea like my granny used to make when I was your age. Granny, I'm bored. Oh, what? Now, when I was your age, I was never bored. Why, I'd sit on the front porch with Granny and Daddy Howard, and we would swing and rock and play checkers, and I'd cut out paper dolls, and they'd tell me stories about our ancestors. The grandpa told, they'd tell me stories about it. And then people would all come from all around. They'd come to talk to Daddy Howard and want to know all about what to do about things. Well, that's just boring. Oh, yeah. Well, when somebody came, he would pull me over into his lap, and that would be my cue to sit still and listen when grown-ups were talking, and he'd offer them a chair to sit down. Well, I recall one day old Jasper came by. Now Jasper was so excited, he was running up through there and said, Judge, you've got to come. They're selling votes down there, hand over fist. The whole election's gone to pot. What'd you say, Daddy Howard asked? Well, sit down here, Jasper. Let's talk about this. Oh, Maggie, come bring me and Jasper some good sweet tea. Now, Jasper, you know if the money's
It was Gracie's weekend to spend with me. Her mother and me were divorced on account of my addiction to prescription drugs. But I was doing better. I told myself I was going to get up real early this morning and spend some good quality time with my little girl who was already up.
Come on, Dad, let's go fishing.
She said that the sun was shining and that it was a great day to go spend outside. What was I thinking? I couldn't make myself get out of bed and go outside. I needed a 40. Just a taste.
I'll get ready, Dad.
I couldn't do it. I needed an OC to get myself together. What can I do to distract her? She was so excited. Come here, Gracie. Daddy's making you a puzzle. Look. When you get taped all back together, we'll stick it on the fridge, and then we'll go outside.
Now, where did I put them traps? I don't know why Joe makes anybody make a map and then he takes it from you. And you can't find the animals, you can't find the traps, and that is no trap. Oh, I got something around here real. Oh, yeah! Oh. Hey! Would you take a look at that? Oh! That's a view! Woo. This is turning out to be some fine morning. You know, I guess my first experience with Joe Bertram was when I was about 16 years old. I was attracted to animals like this one for their fur. There's a lot of good money to be made in that. But I had to make a map of every trap and where I put them. And then I'd get written permission from the landowner. And I'd turn it all into Joe for approval. Well, it was the first day of deer season, and it was already snow on the ground. Sun was out and starting to get pretty hot. You know, it's one of the crazy fall days. It was about that time that I looked over and saw my buddy Joe by his truck. That's when I decided to go over and say, hey. Hey! Woo! One of them mornings, ain't it, Joe? Yep. It gets so hot this morning. I've been out doing some trapping. I bet the deer are moving too. You back your deer yet, Joe?
No, just fishing. And 1 o'clock, Tom. State business.
You know what I'm gonna do, Joe? I got my eyes on the big buck. 12 point. As soon as I get done with these traps here, I'm gonna go out and get him.
No active traps.
What? You know what Joe told me? He told me it was illegal to set traps during the 3-day deer season in the state of Kentucky.
They gotta be quarter strong.
What? Shoot, Joe. I didn't know that. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll go do it.
Well, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to ticket you.
trying to find a pencil. No pencil. And then he went over and he looked under the seat. And then he picked up the floor mat and he looked under there. And then he opened up the glove compartment and he looked in there. No pencil. And then he went to traipse across the front of his truck. He come over to the driver's side. He opened up the door. He looked up his shirt sleeve. He looked there at his shirt. He looked up his pants leg. He looked up that seat. He picked up the floor mat. I can go to the house and get the pencil, Joe.
That won't be necessary, but give me just a second.
Thank God His grace He's going to let me off with a warning. He took out a bullet and started sharpening with his pocket knife. And he went to his truck hub and broke my ticket with it.
Now, be careful now. And don't forget your traps. Get this box off my truck. More extra traps. Hey, don't forget your cap.
That ticket cost me $12. $12! Oh, heck. Lesson learned.
I was getting near the end of my sentence and I had a parole hearing, but it would have taken the grace of God to get me out of here. My parole officer didn't care if I rotted in this place, and I only half listened as they reviewed the records anyways. It was a waste of time. I'd rather be home.
Ray Smith!
Finally, they had called my name. Can I go now?
Not for a few weeks.
To my surprise, the warden had put a letter in my file.
Ray shows a strong commitment to good work.
In light of the warden's recommendation, this panel is granted parole. Congratulations, Ray.
What? What? A few weeks later, I walked straight through that gate, and it hasn't been easy. But with the grace of God, I've gone straight ever since. And these days, I'm on my own grass, as straight as an arrow.
Uncle Joe and Uncle Jimmy were camping with a bunch of us at Double Creek Park. The adults were making dinner while the kids played shoot 'em up. Just a lazy summer afternoon.
Not 6 guns, partner, but where's the cowboy hat?
I always wanted to be like you, Uncle Joe. This is what real heroes wear.
On towards sundown, a carload of young men stopped down the road. It appeared they were going to same for fish, which is illegal in the state of Kentucky. Joe went for his gun and watched as the men went down the bank and into the creek. He hadn't come prepared to do any law enforcement that day, but in his heart, Joe was always on duty. He knew these men and knew they would be armed. He looked for his gun in the glove compartment. He looked under the seat. He even looked in the truck bed, but came up empty. His sidearm was back home in his safe, but Joe still had a job to do, and he picked Ricky to help him do it.
So, Mason tells me we're skipping school and going to hunt squirrels.
Squirrels!
squirrel season. Squirrel season! But old Otis didn't know that. So we hopped in the back of the truck and it was all. We were heading up behind Walter's old place and get this, way past Joe Burchell going the other way. It was gonna be a good day after all.
And it was. Otis and Tree, we'd take turns at dropping them squirrels.
He's a dropping squirrel! But what we didn't know was that Joe Burchell was heading up to Walter's place. So we heard us real good when we was popping them squirrels. He's a popping squirrels! He's a popping and dropping, popping and dropping squirrels! And then started following the noises.
See, it might not have been such a problem, except we was having such a great day. One squirrel right after the other.
One right after the other!
Otis is panting fierce and Aiden here is about to give out.
So we took a breather. And then old goofball over here, he gets so cocky from the good hunting that he starts screaming to the squirrels, "Run for your lives!" What was it? Hey, Joe Burchell! Hey, Joe Burchell! We're skipping school and killing squirrels! He's killing squirrels! What we didn't know,
We didn't know was that Joe,
Joe Burchell had snuck up behind us.
he was standing right behind us when we hollered. And now Joe, he reaches out, and Joe never loses his cool, right? He just reaches out with his hand, yeah, just like that. He reaches right out and he says,
You boys are under arrest.
yeah.
You boys are under arrest.
Oh, heck!
Nobody swears in front of Joe.
Hands where I can see 'em, boys.
Joe told the men what they were doing was against the law. Things might have got ugly, but they're staring at the butt of Joe's revolver, and that had a particular calming effect.
I'll be with your boys in just a minute. I'll be back.
Joe reassured the other boys and turned to Ricky. He had just witnessed his Uncle Joe make the first ever arrest with a Gene Autry cat pistol. He'll never forget it. But wait, there's more. Joe's legend wasn't done growing that night. On the way to the Moose Scout, one of them boys told Joe he was starving. Seemed he'd missed his fish dinner. And could Joe please stop down at the Henny Penny so they could get some chicken? Joe did. My mom was one of the hardest working, most kind women I had ever known. She was an everyday woman.
We didn't have much money, but what we had we shared.
On this particular day, we had a neighbor who lived just a little way up the road. Daddy. This man had been working in the coal mines and had been injured. Him and his wife had a large family with about 8 children.
I'll call him Jim. Jim was the breadwinner for his family, but his wife worked as she could for the people in the community. They didn't know what they'd do now that Jim was hurt and couldn't work.
My mama wouldn't even think of letting a neighbor go hungry for 1 minute. So we pulled up the old truck to their front door and we started unloading box after box of green beans, pork, chicken, fish, whatever we had.
We was giving it to Jim and his family. Other neighbors did the same thing.
I don't believe Joe and his family were hungry for 1 minute.
the next day to make sure that I got help. And I believe that I got in that wrecker between two angels that night. And that was the best night.
It was late one night, my boyfriend and I had been fighting. He hit me before when he was drinking, and I just knew it would happen again. He'll kill me this time. He means it. I'll run to my neighbor's house. Please! Open the door!
There. It's all right now.
My neighbor told my boyfriend to go away. He didn't want any trouble. That didn't work. My neighbor threatened to call the cops if my boyfriend didn't leave right now. That didn't work either. The police came and took my boyfriend away. I decided to press charges. I now live with my kids, got a new job, starting to get my life back together. My neighbors are now my new best friends. If they hadn't opened that door for me that night, I wouldn't be telling my story today. Y'all are God's grace. You did the right thing.
It was a beautiful day for a UTV ride.
Bailey, a little 2-year-old girl,
And her cousins were offered a ride on their uncle's side-by-side. As they traveled along the country road, a pickup truck collided. The driver of the pickup truck saw the seriousness of what had happened, but instead of stopping for help, he ran.
The neighbors nearby heard the crash and ran to see what had happened.
The neighbor was able to free the little girl from the wreckage and see the seriousness of what had happened. As he cleared the blood from her throat,
After multiple surgeries in 4 months, Bailey and her mother are now residents of Freedom House in Manchester, Kentucky. She continues to improve daily and is able to ride her tricycle, talk.
and bring joy to everyone around her. Bailey's mother said at the time of the accident, calls and texts began to flood in from all across the country. People were praying for Bailey.
I believe the prayers of everybody are what saved my little girl.
Is that Gracie? Finish the puzzle and I'll be out!
It's all together, Daddy.
How in this world do you finish it so quickly? I wasn't ready. I was about to get real mean and tell her to go back outside until I finished. And then I saw it. I had been sitting there with a pill in my hand, having an argument with myself that I couldn't win. And then my 7-year-old daughter won it for me. I can do this. Just a second, Gracie. I tossed the pill, I washed my face, and then I came out. There she was at the table, a big smile on her face. And there it was, the puzzle, all put back together. How'd you do it, Gracie? That puzzle was nothing but blue oceans, swirly clouds, and no easy edges.
I couldn't figure the world out, Daddy, but I found a man on the back, and I could put him together easy. See, Dad, if you put the man together, the world goes together too.
Ready to go fishing?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I take no joy in prosecuting this case. I've known Wendy since I've known the defendant, Wendy Jones, and her family for many years. In fact, just last week, she was in my Sunday school class for what may have been the last time. Good morning, class. This morning, we're going to talk about grace. And I have a couple scriptures to read. So the first one is from 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace, and he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Then we also have from 1 Peter 5:5, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. What is grace?
Well, for me, grace is feeling I first had when I first let God into my heart.
Okay, let's dig a little deeper. Wendy, good morning. So when you hear the word grace, what do you think of?
Joseph Grace, blonde, 6 foot, quarterback on the football team.
Really?
Okay. Grace is a free pass when you get in trouble for doing the stuff you love to do.
So you've got it all figured out.
Pretty close, anyways.
And life, is that about finding the highs?
And sharing them. Don't want to be stingy. For the right price, that is.
You may have accidentally hit on something important, Wendy.
Yeah. What's that?
There is a price.
A price? That can't be right, Mr. George. The grace of God is scot-free.
No, I don't think so. I think there's a very high price. All right. that's all for today. Worship starts in 15 minutes. I hope to see you upstairs. I know what you're up to.
I'm not up to anything, sir.
Save it, Wendy. I know your grandparents, and I knew your father. You have a good head on your shoulders, and I like you. I'm begging you, young lady, please stop before it's too late.
I can't stop what I'm not doing.
Girl, there's a lot of talk at City Hall, and your name keeps popping up.
I'm not your girl, man. And I don't feel drugs. I'll see you in church.
I hope so. But I didn't see her in church that day. The next time I saw her was right here in Courtroom.
Another budget things happening in Clay County. Good meetings. We had Clay County right up the road right now, Clay. He's got a great lineup. I was gonna play one right on time.
Hear ye? All rise for the honorable judge presiding over this case.
You may be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, Monday morning, this 16-year-old kid was caught selling drugs to her classmates. Let's review the facts. First, we have sworn statements as to Wendy's terrible and destructive conduct, and witnesses who attest to actually seeing her sell drugs. Drugs were found in her locker, in her backpack, and in her system. Police found a shed near her house where she cooked her happy pills. Worst of all, we have the evidence of every single person that she hurt with her actions. Friends, family, teachers, grandparents, parents, and children who now face a lifelong battle with drug addiction. We have this defendant dead to rights, red-handed, guilty as charged, no mitigating factors. She is a scoundrel, just like her moonshining, adulterous father. And so, in consideration of the sheer weight of damning evidence, the Commonwealth of Kentucky Kentucky drops all charges. That's grace. Don't waste it.
Case dismissed.
You believe it?
can do awe-inspiring things, but sometimes we need a little nudge.
Quotes have always helped me. They've always helped me feel, okay, I'm not alone.
Grace means that our mistakes now serve a purpose instead of serving shame.
Every difficulty brings opportunity.
You know, we're all struggling. I've just had a bunch of friends who had committed suicide or had just not wanted to be here anymore because of their happy pills that had been prescribed. Or just nobody seemed to care. I've been there. I know how hard it is. But it got harder the day a friend came over and, without telling me, tried to kill himself. It was that day I decided this has got to stop. I can't have any more people I love and care about thinking they don't matter.
Courage is grace under pressure.
So I thought, how can I give people the happiness they deserve without booze or drugs? I was in church watching the offering plate go around when it hit me. Quotes. I decided I'd type them up and put them in little capsules and start pushing pills.
When you can't find the sunshine, be the sunshine.
I've found that no matter what life throws at me, music's always the one.
I've had people cry and hug me. I've had people tell me,
If it hadn't been for you today, I don't know if I would have made it.
I've had people who definitely
Love filled me. Peace that passeth understanding.
it's changed their lives. And I love doing it.
And you give what you get.
It brings me so much joy, and I just hope people want to spread the happiness that I want to spread.
Remember what our grandpas told. Never let your heart grow cold. I'll stay in clay till the mountains fall, till the creek runs dry, till the Savior calls. I'll stay in clay, you can't run me off. When it comes my time and I have to go to heaven or to Ohio, a part of me will always stay in clay. A part of me will always stay in clay.
Wow, aren't they beautiful? I want to thank you all for coming so much. It means so much to me and to this cast to see you out there. And before we dismiss them, we go out into the lobby so that you can greet them and give them just a thank you, which they would certainly appreciate. There's somebody in the audience that I want to introduce, and that's Dr. Richard Gere. He would come up. Dr. Richard Gere has been part of this project from the very beginning, and he comes to us from Tucson, Arizona. Richard directed this, and as I said last night, we're very honored and humbled to have this man in our midst. He's become a friend to all of us, and so yes, thank you, Richard, for coming. And is there anything you want to say?
Well, I just want to say that the real thanks is what I feel in my heart when I watch folks make a community, make something strong and beautiful in times that we need just such things. So you honor me. Thank you all so much.